Namaste, you're on the Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narasimhan, and we'll start with Bengal, where it's all happening in Bhabanipur, and with the BJP and its former state BJP president turning around and saying, it is time that the election commission considers cancelling the polls because the atmosphere is not conducive. National Vice President of the BJP, Dilip Ghosh, speaking to CNN News18, will play out a part of that conversation. But this is amid violence in Bhabanipur, where the BJP calling for the upcoming Bypolls to be cancelled. BJP delegation will approach the election commission to raise this demand, claiming the bypoll must be held only when law and order in Bengal retains normalcy. In the last leg of what is now a high-voltage campaign, the BJP claims Dilip Ghosh and team were attacked by Trinamool Congress goons, leading to his security detail to draw guns at Trinamool Congress workers amid the entire scuffle. Shaugato now joins us with more details, but before that, we'll just quickly play out what Dilip Ghosh had to say on what is happening in Bhabanipur.
अगर कानून व्यवस्था की इतनी और कमजोर है और लापरवाही है तो कैसे चुनाव पूरा हो पाएगा। पहले से ही हमको रोका गया, हम प्रचार ही नहीं कर पाए चुनाव में, तो फिर चुनाव कैसे होगा। लोग अगर हमारे जैसा नेता कार्यकर्ता एमपी का ऊपर अटैक होता है तो सामान्य जन घर से निकल करके पोलिंग करेंगे, मुझे उम्मीद नहीं है। इसलिए निष्पक्ष चुनाव होना संभव नहीं है, इसलिए चुनाव को रद्द किया जाए, स्थगित किया जाए।
80 wards, 80 faces. That's the intensity of the campaign mounted by the BJP, who are going all out to make it difficult for Mamata Banerjee. Shaugato now joins us with more details. Shaugato, amid claims versus counter-claims, what stands out is that the atmosphere is not entirely conducive. That's what the BJP is making it out to be.
That's right, Anand. The BJP has in fact, moved the election commission. They would be submitting a memorandum to the election commission with that demand of, suspending the polls at Bhabanipur. The Trinamool Congress's counter is that the BJP realizes that they have no chance in Bhabanipur, which is why they are, taking recourse to this kind of a tactic. However, the claims and counterclaims have, as you rightly point out, have posed a challenge for the administration as well as for the central forces who, under whose observation and close watch, the elections are scheduled to be held on the 30th of September, which is in 48 hours from nearly 48 hours from now. And obviously, Anand, the election commission has already sought a report from the district election officer, and that report, as we are getting to know from our sources in the commission, has already been submitted, and the commission is currently going through the report on the violence that took place in Bhabanipur earlier in the day today, and would be taking a call on the law and order situation on the ground. It remains to be seen what call the election commission takes in the wake of both the report that has been submitted by the district election officer, as well as from the
well, the pictures show that there is a certain level of intensity and there is a lack of control. Point is that everybody has a right to campaign. There will be sloganeering, there will be a lot of talk, but this free-for-all and an open handle for cadre to be able to have a go at each other is something which speaks of the law and order, especially when the West Bengal government has already been pulled up by the courts on its inability to bring justice or provide justice to those who were subject to rampant post-poll violence post the assembly elections earlier this year. And post the 2nd of May. Kamalika now joins us live. Shaugato, thank you for your inputs. Kamalika, whereabouts are you? Are you in Bhabanipur? What is the situation on ground? And is there a sense that one gets that things are not under control?
Right now, after this couple in the afternoon, obviously, as Shaugato was pointing it out, there has been EC has sought report, and they are going through the report. So there has been an extra vigil now in this area, specifically in Jodubabu Bajar, where this scuffle took place. So specifically, Bhabanipur is one constituency which is obviously in the eyes of political party as well as the Election Commission is also keeping a vigil on this. And afternoon, the way this incident happened, after that, the security has been beefed up and route march has been ordered in this areas, what we are getting. But both the sides, the Trinamool Congress is alleging that Dilip Ghosh security did it first. Dilip Ghosh is alleging Trinamool Congress did it first. And, this is where the battle is. Whenever both the parties' position cross each other, the tension is there, and that tension escalates every time. But what happened today was, again, it all started off by sloganings from both the sides, but then it escalated to such a height that this scuffle took place. So obviously the Election Commission has directed for a route march there, and obviously all eyes will be in Bhabanipur the whole day, and from today onwards the tension has built up. Yesterday, Mamata Banerjee, in her last campaign rally, she stated clearly that her workers and her supporters should not fall prey to any violence. And today we have this incident. So obviously, as we are getting it from both the sides, from BJP and Trinamool Congress also, none of the sides want any violence. That's also there. That's one positive
But
thing.
what is being seen right now, Kamalika, is the fact that on ground there is always a law and order situation, and law and order is a state subject. At this point, even the other day, the courts were not very kind to the Election Commission. They said, who decided and on what basis did you decide that you will conduct these elections? The other aspect is the post-poll violence that was witnessed soon after the 2nd of May. There is still not justice. Investigations are still in place. The cops are still being pulled up for not registering cases. It's the CBI which has now lodged FIRs and filed cases. So clearly questions are being asked. And at a time like this, in Bhabanipur, which is the backyard of Mamata Banerjee, for a situation like this to happen is brazen intimidation. Nobody is going to see, from a political worker's point of view, you would say that, all right, this is our para and we'd like to dominate this area, etc. But from the eyes of those who are actually staking claim to become leaders across the country and a national opposition to the BJP, if they can't control elections and situation in one constituency, how is there going to be any credibility to the claims that they are making?
See, here also, both the sides has their own logic. Obviously, Trinamool Congress from afternoon onwards, they are saying that BJP was wanting something like this, and they were, looking for a scuffle. They were intimidating, and they were also, giving such signals for which such scuffle take place. That's what the TMC claim is. And the government claim, obviously, this time too, is right now Bhabanipur is under the Election Commission, and Election Commission is looking after the law and order there. On the other hand, BJP, it was a big campaign today, 80 leaders in 80 locations in 8 wards. They really don't want to give Bhabanipur, because if there is a giant Mamata Banerjee, they just don't want to give it like that. They are really, going door to door and reaching out everywhere. So they are of the opinion that this is the lawlessness which happens in Bengal. And that is what Trinamool Congress is trying to point out, that this scuffle is actually a conspiracy. The conspiracy theory has again come up that, the day 48 hours.
But if the Trinamool is claiming it's conspiracy, it is 8 wards, and they should, in Bhabanipur, they should have been able to ensure that such a thing doesn't transpire and there is no scuffle, because the visuals show there is a scuffle. The visuals show there is agitation. Why were the Trinamool Congress not reined in and said you don't need to get involved into something like this? And the BJP is going to put its might and muscle, because they are the challengers and they would want to a situation where it becomes a tight fight for Mamata Banerjee, although many believe that she will coast through to a comfortable victory. But this is all trying to build a premise that Mamata Banerjee did not win Nandigram and is going to feel the pressure in Bhabanipur. That's what they're trying to build. And the Trinamool is perhaps allowing it. And that's a question that they will have to consider politically if this is going to harm their cause nationally. That's the big question. Dilip Ghosh, the National Vice President of the BJP, who claims he and his team were attacked and assaulted by Trinamool Congress cadres, spoke to Shivani Gupta just a short while ago. Listen in.
टीएमसी का कहना है कि आज जो भी हुआ आपकी रैली में, आपके कैंपेनिंग के ड्यूरिंग, वो आपकी गलती है।
तो क्या चुनाव होगा और हम लोग प्रचार नहीं करेंगे? ये तो वही चाह रहे थे। जब से नॉमिनेशन हुआ है तब से हमारे कैंडिडेट को रोका, हमारे प्रदेश अध्यक्ष जी के उनको रोका, उनको उठा के ले गया पुलिस। और आज वही गुंडे थोड़े 1 घंटा पहले अर्जुन सिंह हमारे एमपी, उनको रोका, उनके साथ हाथापाई की। और मैं पहुंचा बगल में बाजार में, मैं प्रचार कर रहा था डोर डोर, तो मेरे साथ भी वही किया और हाथापाई 2-3 कार्यकर्ता को जमीन पे फेंक करके मारा, उनकी हालत बिगाड़ दी, सर और लहूलुहान हो गए। और फिर मेरे ऊपर जब अटैक आया तो सुरक्षा कर्मियों का काम ही वही है, मुझे सुरक्षा देना, और उनको इसलिए हथियार दिया गया है कि दुष्टों को रोके हो।
तो इस प्रकार चुनाव का क्या मतलब है, क्या डेमोक्रेसी होता है? ममता बनर्जी चुनाव लड़ना चाहते हैं, इसलिए हम चुनाव कर रहे हैं। अगर ममता बनर्जी यहाँ चुनाव हार जाएं, फिर उनको रिजाइन करना पड़ेगा, फिर कहीं और जाके लड़ेंगे। तो उसके लिए जिम्मेदार क्या, ना चुनाव कमीशन ना तो पब्लिक, जो एक बार हार चुकी है, पीछे के दरवाजे से सत्ता हथिया ली है, तो उनको किसी भी कीमत पर अब जिता देंगे, चाहे लोकतंत्र गला घोंट लेंगे। ये कौन सा संविधान में इसका कोई प्रावधान है? अगर 2-2 एमपी के ऊपर अटैक होता है, उनको चुनाव में लोगों तक पहुंचने नहीं दिया जाता, गुंडे आके घेर लेते हैं, हम कानून के तहत 5 लोगों से ज्यादा साथ नहीं ले सकते हैं, हम अकेले जाएंगे और 50 गुंडे आपको घेर कर मार देंगे, रास्ते में पीट पीट के मार देंगे, उसका एफआईआर भी नहीं कर सकते आप। और पुलिस हमको हमारे ऊपर 100 मोटर केस करती है, हमारे सुरक्षा कर्मियों के ऊपर एफआईआर हो जाता है, जो हमको बचाने के लिए बंदूक निकाले थे। ये कौन सा कानून है? और चुनाव कमीशन के हाथ में अभी प्रशासन है, इसलिए हमारा प्रश्न उनके सामने है। ऑलरेडी हम लोग मिल चुके हैं, डिमांड रखे हैं, क्योंकि इस परिस्थिति में जहां वोटर घर से निकलकर वोटिंग नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो चुनाव का कोई मतलब ही नहीं होता है, तो डेमोक्रेसी कहाँ पूरा हो पाएगा? सामान्य लोग डेमोक्रेसी का जो उनका जो अधिकार है वो प्रयोग ही नहीं कर पाएंगे। और सीधा सीधा दिख रहा है, तो इस प्रकार जो सिक्योरिटी लेके जाने वाले नेता, एमपी, इनकी सुरक्षा निश्चित नहीं है, वो सारे हम लोगों से मिल नहीं सकते, घूम नहीं सकते हैं। तो आप कैसे कल्पना कर सकते हैं कि लोग घर से निकल करके आगे खुलेआम वोट डाल सकते हैं?
Moving on, staying with the Trinamool Congress and what it's planning nationwide, trying to replace the Congress wherever the Congress seems to be demolished and trying to show it as the national opposition to the BJP and saying that the Congress is a spent force. So it just seems to be Congress replaced by Trinamool. Is that what's happening? Because after Tripura, the TMC is now set to enter Goa. Sources tell CNN News18 that 200 IPAC members are working for the party in Goa. Mamata Banerjee believes that after her party's stunning win in Bengal, they can now take on the BJP on the national stage, starting with Goa. Former Goa Chief Minister and aide of the Gandhis, Luizinho Falero, has submitted his resignation as MLA to the governor and is likely to join the Trinamool. He is expected to be the chief ministerial face in the upcoming polls.
But I have resigned as an MLA so that my dream to build, consolidate, strengthen and unify the Congress family. What is that Mamta formula which has won against the Modi? Modi had 200 meetings. Amit Shah had more than 200 meetings. And then all this power and all that. Who has been? It is a women's empowerment. It is a powerful force, and Congress has to use the powerful forces to fight. So our fight is not against Congress. Our fight is against BJP.
The Congress as an entity cannot fight. So let the Congress get dissolved and get amalgamated into the Trinamool Congress, and let the Trinamool Congress be the new face of the opposition. That seems to be the strategy which the Trinamool is trying to work on. Kamalika is with us. We'll try and go across to Herman also. Kamalika, just a short while ago, Derek O'Brien, who's now said that he's going to park himself in Goa. He's not going to focus on anything else but on Goa. And he says that who will remove the BJP? Till now it was the Congress. Now this woman has shown in Bengal that how the BJP can be defeated. Obviously he's talking about Mamata Banerjee. So we have the best chance. Everybody spoke of opposition unit before Bengal elections. All fought. Others got zero. See, that's what the challenge is in Goa. And now Luizinho Falero also saying that I am not trying to say we are going to wipe out the Congress. He's saying we are going to unite the Congress, but under a different leader. Kamalika.
Yeah, obviously, if we go by what Trinamool Congress is doing for the last 15 days, then one thing is very clear that obviously they are trying to project themselves as the main alternative, to Narendra Modi. That's what their projection is. And from their party mouthpiece, where they have written in their mouthpiece 2 days back that, in West Bengal, there was a time when Congress was there opposing the left. And then Trinamool Congress came out, Mamata Banerjee gave birth to Trinamool Congress, and that actually ousted the left government after 34 years. So if that can play the role of a real Congress, why that model cannot take place nationally? Now that is Trinamool Congress motto, as what we are getting it from sources. Though today only we have spoken to Derek O'Brien, and on record, they are saying that their main target is BJP, but in that opposition space, Obviously, Trinamool Congress, and if we see 2017 Goa results, with 17 seats, Congress could not form the government.
Yeah.
And here today also Derek O'Brien says that that's the common people saying it in the roads, that even
Correct.
after getting more number of seats, if they can't form the government, then there is a question of credibility.
So they're saying let's
Congress-
cannibalize the Congress into or amalgamate it into the Trinamool Congress, but the real target is the BJP, but there will be certain opposition parties which will be consumed, and the first that they are eyeing is the Congress, because they're claiming the Congress is a divided house. Herman Gomes is also joining us live. Herman, so Eugenio Faleiro also saying Congress family is divided, we have to think out of the box. I will support Mamata because she has fought and won, she's a street fighter. He's also said that I think she can bring the country to the back on the path of progress. So I'm a congressman. I've resigned from the primary membership of the Congress, but I am trying to unite the Congress.
Well, yes, in fact, we do know also, Anand, the very fact that he is a close Gandhi aide. He is someone who is also, during the last elections in 2017, despite the fact that the Congress was, the largest party that had won seats, 7 seats and all, Mr. Falero was also at the helm, supposed to be in charge in forming the government. But because of the infighting, they could not. I can as much as recollect and tell you, Anand, for a fact that all of these leaders were just sitting and having the chai and biscuits, while the BJP overnight, under the then leadership of the late Manoj Parrikar, managed to form the government.
Yeah.
Now, it's also a win-win situation, Anand, for the TMC too, because of the fact that as far as Mr. Luisino Falero is concerned, he is someone who's been in charge of the northeastern states, something as late as even in 2019. He was in charge of the state of Tripura, somewhere that the TMC is trying to make inroads. Incidentally happens to be from the same place, the same hometown that I hail from. And I can tell you this with all confidence is that what to expect forward now is that after his resignation, several people holding different positions such as general secretaries, 2 of whom have already submitted their resignations, more likely are going to be followed. At this point, the BJP has clearly not reacted to the same, the Goa BJP. What they've only labelled it as so far is saying that, this is a tourism of politics that is going on. So going forward, it seems that even more sitting MLAs, former MLAs are expected to join the Trinamool Congress. Clearly, he has made it clear today at his announcement, but the formal joining is expected to be in Calcutta, is what I'm picking up
Football
from my
parlance,
sources.
a club
That could
takeover
happen even as
overnight,
late as
and
even
they have
tomorrow.
new jerseys, but does that mean that they become a better team? So we'll have to wait and watch whether this strategy actually works, and how the Congress reacts to the Trinamool trying to cannibalize its own cadre and its own people. And it's all starting in Goa. They've tried to do that even in Tripura with Sushmita Dev and thereafter. Herman, thank you for your inputs. Moving on, and we turn the spotlight towards what was largely an unsuccessful Bharat Bandh.
बंद रहेगा आज, ये तो सब जगह है, पूरे देश में बंद रहेगा।
Forty farmer unions called for a Bharat Bandh. What was Bandh was roads, not traffic. What was Bandh was access, not that shutters were down. The rejection of this call is evident in these pictures, ladies and gentlemen. Traffic jams. Why were cars out on the streets if they were supporting a Bharat Bandh? Why were shopkeepers ready to walk miles to open their stores if they were supporting a Bharat Bandh? Why were all services ready to ply normally, including auto rickshaws and e-rickshaw drivers? And why were there daily labor waiting for their own opportunity for the day if they were supporting the Bharat Bandh? This is the inconvenience caused to those who want to work for the country and work for their livelihood. Anarchy in the name of a stir. Do we all deserve this? Especially when we do not support this. That's the question. The Delhi-Gurugram border seeing massive traffic jam for about 1.5 kilometers. Situation no different in the Delhi-Noida border. And to control the situation, security forces deployed in large numbers, and episodes of clashes between police and protesters are also reported in Noida. So it's all happening around the national capital, in some parts of Punjab and Haryana, largely political. In Rakesh Tikait's own hometown of Muzaffarnagar, the farmer said what he's doing is wrong and we don't back it. Let's go across to Anvit Srivastava joining us from Gurugram and Anshul live from the DND flyover. What is the situation right now? This is evening traffic. The protest should have been called off. Let me start with Anvit and then I'll come across to you, Anshul. Anvit, you are in Gurugram. Massive traffic snarls, only indicative that people wanted to go to work, but there were those who thought that we will stop them.
Exactly, Anand. Since morning we are here, and definitely in the morning there were major traffic snarls, kilometer-long traffic jams, as people wanted to reach their offices but could not because of the bandh called by the Sahyog Kisan Morcha. But as the day proceeded and we saw that traffic jam started to clearing out, the heavy deployment of police personnel and paramilitary personnel was definitely here at the Delhi-Gurgaon border, and the entire border was barricaded since last night. But as you can see behind me, the traffic has been restored since afternoon. Traffic, the flow of traffic itself speaks volumes of how this call for bandh was not entertained by people of Delhi as well as of Gurugram, and the traffic flow has been now normalized.
You're saying traffic has now been normalized. Anshul, what's the situation at the Noida DND flyover?
Same like Gurgaon, Anand. We saw the kind of traffic jams that were occurring here at the DND expressway. But currently, I'll ask my video journalist Naveen Mansal to show you around the DND. The traffic situation here is very, very, very normal. I went around Delhi this morning across all the places that there were a few protests going on. I went to the Red Fort, and in and around the Red Fort's main area was closed, but in and around the Red Fort, the situation has been largely peaceful. In the national capital and in and around the national capital, the situation has been largely peaceful, except for the one incident that we saw in Noida a few hours ago, where a few farmers barged into the Noida authority office. But those farmers, let me remind you again that those farmers were not agitating against the 3 farm laws, but their concern was something related to Noida authorities' actions on their lands. So that also hasn't happened. I got a chance to talk to the additional DCP of Noida, and he said that he had a word with those farmers and have told them that there are different ways and dialogues to sort their problems out, instead of breaking barricades and taking law and order into their own hand. And the administration over here in Noida is now confident that no untoward incident is going to happen right now, and the farmers that were sitting on the dharna near the Noida authority office have also gone back. So the situation here has completely normalized. Back to normal.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Anvit and Anshul. Earlier in the day, I had the opportunity to speak to Rakesh Tikait, who was at a loss to choose between mandis and traders and the Chota Kisan of the country. ये भारत जैम और सड़क जाम करने से लोगों को असुविधा बहुत हो रही है।
इन्होंने बीजेपी वालों ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एफिडेविट दे दिया कि हम आगे ना कभी जाम करने के ना भारत बंद करने के।
मैं तो आपसे पूछ रहा हूं, आपकी वजह से लोगों को तकलीफ हो रही है।
मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं कि मैं कह रहा हूं कि बीजेपी वालों ने एफिडेविट दे दिया क्या कि हम आज के बाद में ना जाम करने के और ना कभी हम जीवन में भारत बंद करने के। हमने पहली बार बहुत छूट दे रखी थी, लोग को निकलने आने का रास्ता दे रखा था, तो उसका मतलब ये बीजेपी वाले कहते थे जी पूर्ण रूप से फ्लॉप हुआ। अब की बार में सब जगह लोगों ने रास्ते रोक दिए, बाजार बंद कर हुए हैं।
जनता तो ये कह रही है कि हमें सड़कों पे हमें काम पर जाना है, जनता ये कह रही है हमें दुकानें खोलनी है, जनता ये कह रही है कि हमें अपनी आजीविका पर हमारी आघात मत कीजिए, जनता ये कह रही है सड़क जाम मत कीजिए।
नहीं ठीक कह रही हो, बराबर के रास्ते खुले हुए हैं, उससे निकल सकते हैं लोग।
पर आपकी मंशा क्या है?
निकल सकते हैं लोग।
पर अगर भारत बंद सफल नहीं है, लोग सड़क पर हैं, तो फिर यानी कि लोग आपकी बात से नहीं जुड़ रहे हैं।
नहीं, क्यों सफल नहीं है?
क्योंकि
सफल है
क्योंकि सड़कों पर गाड़ियां हैं, दुकानें खुली हैं। जरूरत रास्ते तो जाम आपने कर रखे हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि लोग सड़कों पे नहीं आए, काम करने के लिए नहीं उतरे हैं। बच्चे स्कूल जाना चाहते हैं, दुकानदार अपनी दुकान खोलना चाहता है, दिहाड़ी मजदूरी करना चाहता है, किसान खेतों में है, फसल काट रहे हैं,
काम चलते रहे। हाँ, सब काम करते रहते हैं, ये भी चलता रहता है, सब काम चलता रहेगा।
तो अगर सब काम चल रहा है तो फिर आपका बंद तो असफल हुआ।
पूर्ण रूप से सफल है।
आप भी तो बताइए,
सरकार नहीं बता पाई।
आप इन कानूनों की वापसी क्यों मांग रहे हैं?
सरकार नहीं बता पाई।
क्या काला है इसमें, बताइए तो सही।
हाँ, वो सरकार
वही तो आपसे भी पूछा जा रहा है,
वो पूछेगी।
वही तो आपसे भी तो वही पूछा जा रहा है।
दालों से, अरे मध्य प्रदेश की 182 मंडी बिखरी है, ये काला है इसमें कि मंडियां खत्म होंगी।
मंडियां कहाँ खत्म होंगी?
दिखाया मध्य प्रदेश की 182 मंडी बिखरी है।
कौन सी मंडी
बिखरी है ना?
कौन सी मंडी का उत्तर प्रदेश में मंडी खत्म हो गई, मंडियां खत्म हो गई। आजादपुर मंडी खत्म हुई, गाजीपुर मंडी खत्म हुई,
मध्य प्रदेश में आजादपुर
मंडी खत्म हुई। तो मध्य प्रदेश में अगर कोई
भारत का हिस्सा नहीं है।
हाँ बिल्कुल है।
बिहार की मंडी खत्म होगी, उसको हिस्सा नहीं है इस कानून का।
पर बिहार में क्या किसान अपनी फसल नहीं बेच सकता?
दालों के रेट नहीं बेच सकता।
कहाँ नहीं बेच सकता
है बिहार का?
अब अगर ये कानून आएंगे तो बिहार का किसान महाराष्ट्र में भी अपनी फसल बेच सकता है। तो ये गलत हुआ कि सही हुआ, बताइए।
अभी बिकवा दो ना उनकी फसल। 800 रुपए में बेच रहा है, बिकवा दो।
मुजफ्फरनगर में तो किसान खुश, मुजफ्फरनगर में तो किसान खुश हैं, खेती कर रहे हैं। वो तो कह रहे हैं भारत बंद नहीं होना चाहिए। अभी हमने बात की मुजफ्फरनगर में किसानों से। आप तो मुजफ्फरनगर से हैं।
किससे बात करी?
हमने किसानों से बात करी, मुजफ्फरनगर में गांव में किसानों से बात करी।
किससे बात करी?
नहीं, हमने गांव में किसानों से बात करी।
भुगतान जो किसका होगा।
हाँ,
चलो ठीक है, आप सरकार की बात करो ना, किसान को क्यों फाड़ते हो भाई आपस में?
भाई आप भी तो किसान के नाम पर ही बिल फाड़ रहे हैं। आप भी तो किसान के नाम पर भी मोर्चा संभाल के बैठे हैं। किसान के नाम पर ही तो आप खड़े हैं। तो मैं भी किसान की बात कर रहा हूँ।
है ना, अरे किसानों को नुकसान हो रहा है।
कहाँ नुकसान हो रहा है?
किसानों को जो नुकसान हो रहा है,
किसान को नुकसान आपके मोर्चे से हो रहा है, आपके प्रोटेस्ट से हो रहा है, कानूनों के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ना होने से हो रहा है। कैसे हो रहा है? किसान
बहुत बुद्धिजीवी आदमी भाई। आधे रेट में किसान की फसल
1.5 गुना MSP है। FRP गन्ना किसानों के लिए दाम बढ़ गए, तो अब किसानों का हित कहाँ हुआ, बताइए।
1.5 गुना है। पहले किताब पढ़कर जब चैनल पे बैठे करो।
हाँ।
राड तो यह होगी कि चैनल पे भी स्टाफ रख नहीं रखा। एक आदमी खेल भी वही दिखाओगा, व्यापार भी वही दिखाएगा, किसान भी वही दिखाएगा, MSP भी वही दिखाएगा। C2+ वाला 50 वाला फार्मूला सरकार ने कहा था, वो लागू हो गया। A2+ FL लागू है, उसका इफेक्ट पंजाब में और सब जगह पूरे देश भर में देखो। ठीक है।
हाँ।
और गन्ने का जो MSP भारत सरकार ने कहा था, ये उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार ने आज से 5-6 साल पहले वो लागू नहीं हुआ। वो दिखाओ आप।